Well, hello. How are you? This is Joseph McCrae with Alcohol, Drugs, and Us. I'm going to share a very important topic today. We're going to talk about mind on drugs. Mind on drugs. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to talk about my mind on drugs. Okay. And Alcohol, Drugs, and Us is a podcast, Facebook, YouTube, where we tell you about how drugs and alcohol affect the body as well as the mind. And so we're going to get right into the topic today as we talk about a very important topic, and that is co-occurring or dual diagnosis. Okay. So we can get right into dual diagnosis. But first, I want to just kind of define for the group what is mental wellness. So before we kind of jump ahead, we'll go back. Yeah. So mental well-being is our internal positive view that we are coping well psychologically with the everyday stresses of life and can work productively and fruitfully. That's mental wellness. Okay. And the source I got that from is uh, www.gov.scot. Okay. So we want to first know, like, what does it mean to be mentally well? Okay. So it's having like a positive attitude psychologically, just about everything that we kind of deal with in life. And want to let you know that sometimes that gets interrupted. Sometimes that has an impact on people to the point where it overwhelms them and causes them not to do life as well. And let's take a look at that definition of dual diagnosis or co-occurring disorder. So, a dual diagnosis, also referred to as a co-occurring disorder, is a term used when someone experiences a mental illness and a substance use disorder simultaneously. This is someone who is drinking alcohol, using marijuana, using cocaine, using heroin, and also dealing with a mental illness. And the one that stands out the most to me is depression. So I want to kind of share with you a video that I came across that talks about depression. So check this out.
You work, eat, play, sleep, and get out of bed the next morning. Seems simple. But if you're one of 25 million individuals in the United States living with major depression, sleep isn't always so easy. Neither is navigating your daily life free of guilt or hopelessness, or having the ability to enjoy time out with friends, make simple decisions, enjoy hobbies, or go to work. Major depression is the leading cause of disability across the United States, and without treatment, the frequency and severity of symptoms tend to increase over time. However, there is hope. Major depression is treatable, and there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Today, there are a variety of treatment options to choose from. The key is to get an evaluation and find a treatment plan that is right for you. Free education, information, and support programs are available. You are not alone. We can help.
Yes. So you're not alone. If you feel like you're dealing with a depression, it's a good thing to seek out care, seek out a doctor, seek out a counselor, call 988 and ask for where you can go and get your symptoms checked out, find out what's going on. And when you do talk with someone, do be honest, do share with them like what is going on. And so many times people will have a depression and they'll treat it with a drink, folks. They'll treat it with a drink. They'll treat it with some reefer, some marijuana. They'll treat it with some cocaine. And this is not cool because those are not great tools to treat a mental illness such as depression. And so we'll get back into a couple more things about co-occurring disorders where we left off. We will pick that back up. So, how common is co-occurring disorders? How common? That's a good question. How common are they? So, I got some information from National Alliance on Mental Illness (NAMI), and it says about a third of all people experiencing mental illness and about half of people living with severe mental illness also experience substance abuse. I want to stay there for a minute. So about a third, 33% of all people experiencing mental illness and about half of the people living with severe mental illness, they also use substance abuse. So you see there that substance abuse and mental illness sort of kind of can go hand in hand. Okay. What we call that is self-medicating. People treat their mental illness through taking substances, through taking alcohol, through taking cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, um, benzodiazepine, anti-anxiety medications. So these are not great resources, great tools, great medications to treat a mental illness. Please know that this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want to raise our awareness. Okay, and one of the ways we raise it is getting good information. And so, what else is next that we have for you? And I believe that's symptoms. So, what are the symptoms of mental illness? We'll break this down just one step at a time. So, one of them is withdrawal from your friends and your family. Okay, withdrawing, just deciding that hey, you know what, you don't want to be around people. You isolate. You stay to yourself. This is a problem. This is a problem because now all these negative thoughts you might be feeling, you don't get a chance to bounce them off with anyone else. You don't get a chance to talk about it. You don't get a chance to uh, find out like what you're feeling. Is that normal? Okay, is that normal? That's why we need people to help to keep us in a place where we know what's normal, right? If you just don't associate and connect with people, like you could be living in a real false reality. So we need people to connect and validate, what we see, what we feel, what we're experiencing. And so if you're isolated, that's not good. You want to start having some discussion with someone who can help you with that. What's another symptom that we sometimes encounter is sudden change in behavior. So sudden change, mood is up, you're angry, you're irritable, everything is a problem. You have to begin to think like, what is going on, what's happening? And we know that mental illness is a chemical imbalance. So we know that some of it is genetics, some of it is environment, what you've been exposed to, traumas, things like that can all have an effect on how and if you experience a mental illness. Okay. And we have, for our next symptom, we have engaging in risky behaviors when drunk or high. So people can engage in some real risky behaviors, maybe, getting in cars, driving, maybe interacting with people that may be risky. And you just want to be careful because what is happening is you're trying to deal with your mental illness through substances, and now it's impairing you. It's causing you not to think clearly. Another one that comes to mind is loss of control over use of substances. So you lose control. You one time had control. You one time, could keep it together, but now it's starting to take its toll. It's starting to, cost you more money, cost more of your time, and that's a problem. And many times, people at one time had control. They could say no. They could only spend $20, but now it tends to go even further, and they've lost control. They've even put themselves in a point where they may even lose jobs or family and stuff like that as a result of substance use. So these are just some symptoms of a co-occurring disorder, co-occurring disorder. What else we have here? We have doing things you wouldn't normally do to maintain your habits. So really doing some strange stuff, maybe selling items in your home, maybe stealing, all the kind of things that you just, yourself, you wouldn't normally do. Then all of a sudden, you're finding yourself doing these types of behaviors, um, which is not cool and could definitely put you uh, at risk of going to jail, losing your freedom, all these kind of things. And so you just are getting out of control. Things are really becoming not normal. And sometimes it's hard for people to see that because they're in denial. Sometimes people uh, just don't identify and say and think that they have a problem. Sometimes they get arrested. Sometimes, they have to go to hospital, and it still hasn't like really sunk in that something is wrong. And what could be going on is a mental illness, a depression. It could be a bipolar. It could be a schizophrenia. And the way that they're trying to manage it is through drug use, which is not the answer. So please get that, folks that's watching this video. Drug use, alcohol use, marijuana use is not the answer to manage mental illness. All right. And let's look at some more. And those of you that have joined in, definitely type in any comment, question you have as we have this dialogue about uh, co-occurring disorders, a mental illness, and a substance use. And so next we have developing tolerance and withdrawal symptoms. So this is getting serious. So now you need to use more of the substance to get an effect. This is how you know you're really slipping down a really bad path. When you're finding that you have to drink 2 pints because the 1 pint you used to drink just doesn't affect you the same way, or you having to spend $50 versus $20 on cocaine or fentanyl or opioids. And so the more and more you use, the brain begins to adjust to the substance that you're using, and cause you to have a tolerance. It causes you to need more of the substance to get an effect. And then when you are starting to decide you don't want to use, some substances will give you withdrawal symptoms. So alcohol definitely will give you withdrawals, give you the shakes, give you the seizures, give you the feeling that something's crawling on you. All that kind of stuff can happen with alcohol. I don't know what happened with my engineer here, but we're good. So developing tolerance and withdrawal symptoms that can happen as a result of the more and more you're using. And this is all going on in your brain. It's all going on in your brain. Tolerance, withdrawals are all taking place in the brain. And so what do we have next, engineer? Feeling like you need the drug to be able to function. Yeah, this is a tough one when you kind of feel like you need to have the substance to kind of get your day going. You're down, you're not happy, you're not really getting pleasure and enjoyment out of life. This is what can happen in a depression, where you lose the ability to really enjoy life. You're not really having fun, and like the things that brought you pleasure don't do it anymore, and so you seek out a substance. And I'm going to tell you some ways and how to deal with mental illness, so hang in there. And but I do know, I keep saying it over and over, do not treat your mental illness with substance use, with alcohol, with drugs. It's not the way to do it. If you have been doing it, turn around and do something different. Get to a doctor, get to a therapist, get to your local church. All those are great ways to get help. So let's look at what's next here, folks. So how is a co-occurring disorder treated? I'm so glad you asked. So one way we treat it is detoxification. So certain drugs like alcohol, like opioids, when you stop them, you do have withdrawals, and you need a detoxification, which is basically ridding your body of the poisons. Okay, that's what detox does. takes out the poisons that's been in your body, like alcohol, like opioids, like benzodiazepines, your anti-anxiety medicines, and a detox safely transitions you off of those substances onto stability. And we use medications to do that. And the person feels much better. Because most of the time, when someone feels bad, if you don't provide them with adequate treatment, adequate treatment, they'll just go back out. They're just like, why sit here and suffer like this? So it's very important when they go to detox that they can get to stability safely so they feel better and can have the opportunity to make some better decisions for their health. And what do we have after detoxification? We want inpatient rehab. So sometimes people go away. Sometimes people go into a facility, get away from all the loud noise, all the nonsense and all that stuff. And they get a moment to like really kind of check in, really kind of check and examine themselves. They really get an opportunity to assess where they've been, like why were they using drugs, what was going on in their life. And inpatient rehabs are great for that because it takes you away from the environment. You have some downtime. You're not ripping and running, and you get an opportunity to really do that self-evaluation and then learn information too. You got your groups there, your counselor, so you get an opportunity to really kind of do some self-evaluation. And what's next, engineer? Medication. So there are medicines that you can use to treat a dual diagnosis. Do know a co-occurring disorder, what I meant to say. A co-occurring disorder, it gets treated for the mental health as well as the substance use at the same time. You treat them both. So if you have a depression, you'll treat the depression with some antidepressants. If you have a substance use, you may have some medications to treat that. You may have medicines to treat an alcohol use disorder, your naltrexone, your antabuse. You may have medications to treat an opioid use. You may do your naltrexone, your Vivitrol, your Suboxone, your methadone. All those are options for you. And so you do have to treat them simultaneously, okay? You got to treat them at the same time. What else we got here? Good information sharing. Psychotherapy. So sometimes you gotta talk to someone. You gotta get some new coping skills. Get some new ways of thinking about life and how you're gonna deal with life. How you're gonna cope with life. So psychotherapy is great. It's an awesome tool in the toolbox to treat a co-occurring disorder, to treat a mental health issue as well as a substance use issue. So psychotherapy is there for you as well. See that? A lot of stuff is available. What else we got? Self-help and support groups, church or religious organizations. So this is where your AA, your NA, your church, the mosque, the temple, whatever you believe in. Like this is the opportunity for you to get in touch with, your higher power. My higher power is Jesus Christ. Someone else might say is Buddha. Someone else might say it's Jehovah. I'm not going to fight that part about it. I'm just going to let you know that support groups like AA and NA do tell you to get in touch with your higher power, because you have to know that there is a power greater than yourself, and tuning into that can really help your inner being. Okay, can really help your inner being. And so I'm a believer in Christ. That's what I'm going to tell folks. But people may not believe in the Lord. They may not believe in Christ. They may find some other higher power. So I'm not here to judge you for that. But getting in touch with that is very important. What I want to do now is just take a moment and just do a little quick commercial, and then we'll come right back to the rest of this talk. Why people drink. I talk in this chapter about what are some reasons why people drink. Sometimes it's curiosity, sometimes it's family exposure, sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's mental illness. They will drink
to deal with a depression or bipolar or schizophrenia. I talk all about that in the chapter, and that alcohol is never a tool or resource to deal with mental illness. You do need counseling and maybe medication to deal with mental illness. Do not drink alcohol.
Wow. I didn't realize that clip spoke about mental illness there, but that's great. So you heard that guy? He said, just don't do that. Just don't do alcohol to treat a mental illness, to treat a depression, a major depression, a bipolar, a schizophrenia. Don't use alcohol. I was just talking from my book. All those bottles, alcohol, I'm telling on you, I kind of point that out in the book. And grab yourself your copy as well as on Amazon. But getting back to a couple more resources there, that might have been it, man. My engineer. That's it. So we've been talking about my mind. Here we go. My mind on drugs, co-occurring disorders. And we've been talking about people can have a mental illness, folks, as well as a substance use. And I know that might not really sit well. People might not like that idea. Why me, oh me. But at the end of the day, you got to face it. You got to deal with it because you want to be a better person. Okay. And nobody can make that happen for you except you take that initiative. Like you make that step. You do what is needed in order to make your recovery plan work.
Muted. I can't hear you.
Hey guys, so we're back, and I just hope everything went well. I think from my engineer. Okay, so, but that's what we've been talking about, co-occurring disorders, and just wanted to just kind of emphasize if you need to get assessed for mental illness, be honest, do talk with someone, do check in, do reach out to a doctor, call the number 988, reach out to someone professional that can help you find the help that you do need and get the treatment that you may so need. And then sometimes it may not be you dealing with a mental illness, maybe someone else around you. And so organizations like the National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI, is a great resource to check into to see what you can do for someone you love. And also you can talk about if they're drinking, if they're using drugs as well. So that sort of wraps us up for the night. I just wanted to kind of lay some foundation for you. In 2 more weeks, I'll be back with my wife, and we'll talk a little more about this topic of my mind on drugs, and we'll get more into it. But I just wanted to kind of lay some basic foundation for you, and hope that that you'll get to thinking. That you'll get to thinking. You'll start having that discussion. You'll start just thinking about what's going on with me. Like am I okay? Am I not okay? All the kind of things that we have to just sometimes ask ourselves. And the whole goal is we want to be better. We want to be, like the definitions say, a positive view that we are coping well psychologically with the everyday stresses of life and can work productively and fruitfully. Folks, that's mental well-being. That's mental well-being. And that's what we want to have. That's what all of us are trying to achieve. That's what all of us are trying to become mentally well. And if we need to get a check-in, get a checkup, whatever we need to do, so be it. Let's do it. Because at the end of the day, we want to be the best you and the best me. All right. I want to thank you for checking out this video, watching it, listening to it on podcasts, all that kind of stuff. Remember, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so if you know somebody that may be dealing with some mental illness or some substance use, reach out to them, tell them about the resources that are available. Let them know that there is help out there, there is treatment, there is a way to get better with what's going on. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much.